What is going on, everybody? It is episode 713 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. We saw a huge jump in subscribers last night. You told me it was over 1,000 new people.
Yes, indeedy.
Very exciting. So if you're new here, welcome. And we also have Phil joining us today.
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary.
He is indeed. And he's here on a Wednesday, which is very different. Normally it's Thursday.
Yeah, I'm going to be covering for Anna Claire tomorrow night on IRL.
IRL. Well, that's political stuff. That's stupid. Nobody wants to talk about stuff like that. That's boring and dumb. That's
right.
Yeah.
Everyone is like, oh, this channel is turning into TMZ. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah,
that's a compliment.
That's awesome.
Point.
That's literally when...
We're here to talk about boobies.
Exactly. Well, we're going to in a way because we're going to be talking about Sydney Sweeney. Actually, in this case, we'll be talking about something other than her boobies because she's got a new
you'll
role
be
coming
talking.
It's her art.
I will make sure to address the boobies.
There you go. Okay. Guys, we do got a bunch of stuff to get into today, but before we get started, again, also, if you're new here, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this. Oh, no, I say gently tap. I'm not...
Just like...
Aren't you polite?
Yes, I gently... Would you please gently tap the like button on this video and subscribe to this video to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already. And remember to share this live stream, these episodes with your friends, your family, your loved ones, people you like, people you don't like, people you hate, everyone in between. The more people that you share these episodes with, the faster channels like this grow. It is the best way to help out channels like this. So thank you guys so much for that.
$20 one.
There you go.
Oh.
Okay, you want to read that?
Didn't even see that. Debbie Nanner said, after the sudden box office rise of Terrifier 3, when will we be getting a review of it?
We have a weird thing, like when you miss the mark, like if you don't review it opening weekend, it's always kind of weird to then go back and if we were just a review channel, it would make more sense. But
I also just don't want to watch something that's terrifying, right? It's called Terrifier.
Mary's like, I actually try to avoid terror on a daily basis.
I wouldn't like to watch something like that personally. It would be a lot of emotional distress for my job.
Yeah.
That I'm not really prepared for.
Do we have any movie reviews coming up?
Well, I did want to review the Apprentice movie, but it just doesn't seem like anybody is talking about
Nobody
it.
cares.
It's just nothing.
What's
Does
really
that
funny?
mean that it's likely a miss?
I mean, yeah, I guess. It didn't even hit with the people who were supposed to love watching it because they hate Trump, right? They're not even talking about it for that reason.
It's very easy to hate Trump from a free CNN episode from something on CNN. It's a whole other thing.
You mean I gotta spend money to hate on that man? I can hate on him at home for free.
Exactly. So and he addressed it too. What's funny is he addressed the movie.
Yeah.
And then the director was like, "Thanks for the free promotion." I'm like, "That ain't helping you at all, bro. Nobody cares about this movie."
I mean, are they going to go forward with the lawsuit?
I don't
for
think
defamation.
So. I don't think the lawsuit is going forward.
Let it go.
Yeah. So, guys, we got a bunch of stuff to get into today, but what are we talking about? So, I couldn't believe this was real at first. I thought it had to be about something that was more serious than what I was looking at. But the star of the upcoming Wicked movie, who's starring alongside Ariana Grande, did I get it right? Is it Ariana or Ariana?
I believe it's Ariana.
Okay, so I got it right. The star of the upcoming Wicked movie got very, very, and I do mean very offended by a fan edit of the promotional poster for the new movie. And it's not even like a mean fan edit. What they did is they edited the poster to make it look like the original playbill in which the play Wicked was shown on, which, if that sounds ridiculous to you, that's exactly what we're living in now. We live in the golden age of whiny celebrities giving you whiny celebrity content to talk about, because if that's the stuff that upsets you, life is going to be long and arduous. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about the very, very obvious failure of the recent Victoria's Secret fashion show that everybody thought was going to be a return to form, but alas, modernity pushes forward.
Did they have dudes?
Yeah.
Yes.
They had stop having dudes.
Stop doing that. It's so easy. It's so easy.
I hear they had skinny ladies, which is nice.
There was so I was when we were,
but also some plus size.
Yes. Well, look, Ashley Graham is grandfathered into the whole thing, right? She was like the first big.
Some of the new models were also fat. Though.
When you say plus size, how plus size?
We'll look through the pictures and you can decide how plus size they are. But
if it's my 600-pound life.
No, it's not. It's not that. But it's like I feel confident in saying the Victoria's Secret fashion show should be tall, skinny women who have bigger boobs than runway models by a little bit. They shouldn't be overweight in any capacity. I just think that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't be overweight. I do think that
They shouldn't even be curvy. That's not the Victoria's Secret look. That's not... If they're trying to get eyes back on this show after everyone stopped caring about it,
I mean, look,
return to form.
I'm not a chubby chaser. I like people that look like they exercise. I like women that look like they go to the gym, or they smoke, or they starve themselves. But I'm just kidding. But I do understand that. I do understand that there are some people that like, you know, a little more curvy body style.
Okay, save that for some other fashion show. Not this.
Hey.
Not this one.
There's a 20 there from Gordon Shumway.
Phil, I remember one of the first times I saw you on IRL. Tim brought you on to help tame Alex Jones when he would go on a crazy rant.
No.
Alex started doing his thing. He looked over to you for help, and you just screamed, "Yes!"
That's exactly what I did. I think
So you
that
got
was when,
done, and Tim is like, well, that's not really what I asked you.
I think that's when I endeared myself.
It's like,
to Tim
congrats,
Pool.
you're on.
Yeah, he was like, just help rein him in. And he starts going, I'm like, yes, yes, this is why I'm here. And Tim was like, oh no.
It works, though. It works. I mean, if the idea there is good television or good shows, then that's exactly what you want. So we're going to get into the Victoria's Secret thing. We're also going to talk about this thing that Mary found, which is she's saying that, look, move over Bumble. Twitter is the place you go to find love now.
Yeah, people are meeting their spouses on Twitter. I know this not only from personal experience with some friends of mine, but a lot of people are talking about this. Twitter is a better dating app than Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, all of these combined.
Thanks, Elon.
Thanks, Elon.
This
You're
doesn't surprise
creating
me,
love.
because the thing is, like, the dating sites, like, they kind of only work for a small section of the dudes. Most women have like an inbox full of anybody, because there's dudes that'll just swipe right on everybody. Like, I know there was this guy that was our guitar tech for a minute, and he looked awful, and he would just sit there and open up Tinder, and
Just
he would just
scattershot tactic.
straight, like, everybody gets swiped right, you know,
Carpet bomb the whole.
Yeah.
literally throwing the widest net
discernment.
imaginable. Yeah, none, zero,
None whatsoever.
I'm picturing him like this. He's like,
No, he
No,
was
it's
literally
faster
this.
than that. It's like
It was this. He's like doing this. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm
developed like a method.
I'm scrolling Tinder. I'm like, you ain't scrolling shit, homie. You're just straight up swiping right to everything. And, you know, so the point being that they don't work for everybody. And there is, like, I hear that the companies do some kind of shenanigans behind the scenes, you know, and I don't know the details about it. But whereas with X, if you're on X and you're talking to people, you do end up finding people that have like opinions and you're like-minded, and it makes perfect sense.
so we will get into that. We get a bunch of other stuff. So we'll just, without further ado, we'll just get started. Mary, you ready?
yes, let's go.
Phil.
Yes.
All right. First things first, there's always good news when Phil gets to talk about Sydney Sweeney, am I right?
She's great.
She has a new movie coming up, and she looks vastly different than what she looked like the last time that you saw her.
Yeah.
She's going to be playing professional boxer Christy Martin in it's not a biopic. It's just it's a biopic. It's a film.
It's a biopic, yeah.
It's not a documentary. It's a biopic, and she's looking a little bit unrecognizable. She's been working out.
Yeah, so she's swole now.
Yeah.
And she has that
She's
80s hair. I wonder
Sydney
if it's a wig.
Swoley.
She is, like we like to say, geared up.
So you
Or
think
she
she's
looks-
on the? She's
Nah,
on the
she's
air?
natty. She's natty.
I don't know. She does look like she has spent significant time lifting weights, and she is a member of the Clean Plate Club as well.
Yes.
She is not missing a meal. So
I had never heard the name of this boxer, Christy Martin. It says she was a professional boxer who earned herself the WBC Female Super Welterweight title in 2009. Who is the subject of this new movie?
They're doing this because they can't make a Gina Carano movie because it would be politically incorrect to make a Gina Carano movie.
Well, also, I'm sure Gina Carano is less well known than the boxer in question. I'm just not a fan of.
I mean, I don't know about that. MMA is bigger than boxing these days, is it not?
I want to
Very
watch the
much.
movie about Gina Carano's family and their casino dynasty. But yeah, this is quite the transformation. It's impressive.
when I saw the pictures, I like Mary said, I was impressed. I was like, okay, so and Mary brought up the another movie that she had done, Sydney Sweeney. What's the name of it?
She played Reality Winner,
Yeah.
who I believe
Was a
was
whistleblower?
tried. She was she was a whistleblower in the U.S. government.
Or
She was
committed
tried for treason.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have another 20 from award-winning blank. Phil,
Awesome.
I appreciate your award-worthy music. I'd give you my award, but it's mine. You can't have it.
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
I did feel the same way you did the first time I read about Reality Winner. I'm like, that's a psyop if I've ever heard one. Her name is Reality Winner.
Yeah, it's the most MK Ultra name I've ever heard in my life.
So Sydney Sweeney continues to work to prove that she's not just a pretty face, that she is more than that. She wants to be a producer. She wants to make the type of art that she wants. I will maintain that I've yet to see her actually act well, but that doesn't really matter all that much for most people. I think that she's great as far as she knows her target demographic.
Yeah.
She markets towards them, and she gets to work on the projects that she wants to work on because she's got producer roles now.
Yeah, and she's smart enough to be like, okay, well, I'm going to do my serious acting movie where I am not focusing on only my looks, and then she goes and she does, Dr. Squatch commercials,
Which we
where they're
just
just
talked
like,
about the
okay,
other
these
day.
are 80s commercials, like,
She can do it all.
We covered that recently, and what that segment always reaffirms to us is that most people, they don't actually watch the videos. They just see the thumbnail and then they leave comments on the videos.
Based on the thumbnail.
Based
yeah.
on the thumbnail, because people were leaving a bunch of comments on our Dr. Squatch video that didn't actually realize that they
They were
were
like, why are you
agreeing with
trashing
us.
Sydney Sweeney?
Yeah.
Like, it was literally the opposite of that. But thank
Yeah.
you for your engagement,
We do
nonetheless.
appreciate that, guys.
Still helps,
Yeah, it does.
regardless.
So good for her. I wanna see her continue to carve out her niche in Hollywood in the same way that Glenn Powell is doing for the men on that side. I actually had the conversation the other day. So you know who I feel bad for more than anything? Miles Teller, who was in Top Gun.
Oh, yeah,
Maverick.
whatever happened to that guy?
That's exactly why I said it. I was like, because nobody remembers Miles Teller
Poor guy.
anymore. He just disappeared.
Yeah, he's not on any of these, meet the new A-listers
I saw
listicles.
some
Listicles.
ad or like some discussing film tweet about something that he's going to be in recently, and it was literally well, I'm going to forget about that in T-minus 5 seconds, and I've already forgot about it. I don't remember what it was.
I absolutely hate the term listicle.
Really?
Yeah, because it just makes me think of testicles.
Okay.
That's gross.
I'll keep that in mind. I'll never say that word around you.
Well,
ever
I mean,
again.
listen, I'm completely capable of dealing with words that I hate. I'm just saying.
Okay. No, I totally understand that.
They should have cast her in Beetlejuice.
No.
As Beetlejuice?
No,
No, they should
Jenna
have-
Ortega was perfect.
No,
for that
not
role.
in that role. They should have rewritten the role with what's her name, the one
For
that-
his ex-wife.
yeah,
For Beetlejuice's
rewritten,
ex-wife.
Maybe make it a long lost daughter.
Maybe. That would have been funny. I actually haven't watched Euphoria. I partly watched Anyone But You. And the only movie that Sydney Sweeney has been in I've watched in full is Madam Web. So far, doesn't seem like she's a great actress, but I would be willing to give this one a review.
See, the thing is she could make a whole career out of making movies just like Madam Web and Anyone But You, of
Right.
which she's perfectly apt for those films.
Yeah, but she could impress us later on. For
All
sure.
right, so you sent me this. You want to explain to everybody how this lady effed up?
Yeah, so a college student accidentally received nearly $1 million into her checking account, and it was just by some fluke, from some glitch. And instantly, instead of, I don't know, calling your bank and being like, hey, what's up with this? She just spent all of the money. She spent all of the money on, it says here, thousands on expensive bottles of whiskey and designer handbags and jackets.
You know what it is? There's a disconnect here because, finders keepers is a real thing in the real world. You find a bag of money in the real world, you have claim to it. You do not have such a claim when you just find $1 million in your bank account.
I have zero sympathy for this idiot.
Yeah.
I have no sympathy at all. In fact, they should make her pay all the money back, and then they should close her a bank account. She shouldn't be allowed to have a bank account because she can't function in regular society.
It
You
says
absolute idiot.
she was 27 at the time and relied on benefits to cover
Yeah.
her school tuition
27
and living
you're,
costs.
You're supposed to be old enough to not be completely
27.
idiot. Like,
Wow. She was usually
She was
receiving around
27.
$100 USD every month to spend on food. And one morning, she checked her balance to find that the financial aid from the government erroneously sent her around 1 million USD on accident.
You know what it was, Mary? Sometimes when we're doing the thumbnails for the show and my computer like locks and starts pushing a button a bunch of times over, somebody's computer at the government offices accidentally hit the 0 and it went like 7 times extra.
Someone slipped.
Yeah.
There's a girl that I'm very close to that's 27 years old, and she's super smart, and she knows that if you wake up with $1 million in your bank account, you call the bank and you say, hey, this is a mistake. Get that crap out of my bank account, because you're not going to throw me in jail.
Yeah, I mean, more like if you're really smart, you say, I don't want to get audited.
Yes!
Right.
It's like
No, that didn't even cross her mind.
The hassle that will come of this from the IRS will not be worth the money.
Well, this was in South Africa, so I don't know what their equivalent of that system is or what it does, but it seems like they effed up.
Well.
It says she wasted no time treating herself to designer handbags, an iPhone 7, and gifts for her friends. And then 73 days later, after splashing more than $40K, she was caught leaving behind a bank receipt at a supermarket.
Unreal.
So if she hadn't left that receipt behind, no one would have found out.
Can you explain that to me? Like, what does that mean? Like, caught how? Like,
I'm not sure. We got another 20 from Not That John Stewart. The scariest letters in the military are DFAS. God help you if you ever get overpaid.
You don't want to get overpaid.
I don't know what that means. Do you? DFAS. I don't know.
Sure. No.
Says she threw a surprise birthday party for her friends and showered them with expensive gifts.
Well, you know,
flew them to events where she bought the best seats. So I guess she was trying to spend the money on people she loves, not just herself.
That's not a horrible
That's
thing,
sweet.
but unfortunately, good intentions doesn't really matter much to the government.
She was reported to the police that same year and charged with theft and fraud. And she's a mother of 2, now sentenced to 5 years in jail for this.
You know what it reminded me of was the Chase Bank glitch earlier.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the exact same
September.
thing.
And all those people who then wake up Tuesday after the holiday to a negative bank balance of many, many thousands of dollars.
They're like,
Not good.
Why am I poor? Might be because you're not smart. You're not smart with your money, are you?
You're
Very,
poor.
very dumb.
The reason that you're poor is the same reason that you spent all that money as if it was yours, because you're stupid.
But look, Jeff Bezos, if he wanted to, he could give every person on the planet $1 million. That's how money works.
That's how money
That's
works. Morons.
That's one of those ones where I have to just
disengage.
because you know
don't
what?
let yourself get
I only
angry.
ever see those things when I'm like working, meaning like I don't end up in the type of digital space where people actually have that conversation seriously. Where it tends to happen for me is when I'm looking on Reddit for stuff to talk about for work, which means r/entertainment is a good place to find a good curation of stuff to talk about. But you will also get the people talking about, Jeff Bezos could be Batman, right? Like he could just fix all the
Reddit
problems.
is not sending their best.
No.
You are not going to find very high IQ people on Reddit.
And here's the problem with that. I'm a dummy. So if I'm smart enough to know that that's stupid, then that means that you're really, really dumb, which is an indictment on the culture that we live in now. I should not be any type of leveling benchmark for intelligence, but here we are.
Yeah.
All right.
Sad.
So we have a question for Phil, do we not?
Yeah, I wanted to know how you would handle this situation. Nick Jonas was recently spotted running off stage at a concert in Prague because he spotted a laser pointed at him. It was from somebody in the audience. He thought that was like life or death situation. Let's take a look at the video.
Here we go. Oh, hold please. Before we do that,
we play the
hold
video.
on.
Crisis Party.
If you're new here and you want to know why we are currently being bombarded with Donald Trump singing about dogs and cats, every time this show reaches $100 in Super Chats, it triggers what is called a crisis party, which you can see down at the bottom. We are one crisis party in. We're about a little under halfway to crisis party number 2. So if you want to interrupt the discussion, the best way to do that is to get us to crisis parties.
Yes.
It half the time it happens when we're in the middle of trying to say something serious.
Yeah.
Well-
We're like, anyways, this really important thing happened.
Let's watch Nick Jonas running for his life.
Here we go.
People were clowning on him for this. They said
like,
that he was
"Oh."
overreacting.
He's like, time out.
Yeah. There he is running away. His security is nowhere to be found, weirdly enough.
Thoughts?
So what would you do in this situation? Someone in the crowd pointed a laser at him, and I presume that he thought this was a sniper. taking aim at him, what would you do?
I don't know for sure what I would do. I would be concerned about if it gets in your face.
That was
because
okay.
Can actually mess up your vision.
True.
The first thing I thought was like, oh, it's really easy to clown on him, right? But at the same time, you're not in America. I don't know if there's metal detectors there. You don't know what is going on. And that's just that threat, not even thinking about the threat to your eyesight.
Yeah, my first inclination would be like, okay, that's bad for your eyes.
Yeah.
Gordon Shumway has a $20.
We have a 20. I had an ex that was as financially inept as this woman. She once took my credit card to buy one outfit. I was on the road for the week, and she maxed out treating her friends to lunch every day. She was 30. The audacity. I'm glad you're not with her anymore. That's crazy behavior.
You should send her random Venmo requests.
Just send an invoice for all of that money you lost. That's insane. I just know Priyanka Chopra, Nick Jonas's wife, is somewhere thinking like, ugh, that gave me the ick.
That gave her
when
the
you
ick.
ran for your life at the concert in Prague. That was the ick. That was a terminal ick for me. We have to get divorced.
You know what's gonna happen? I know what's gonna happen. They're gonna be fighting at home, and he's gonna get angry and stalk away. She's like, "Yeah, run, just like you did at that concert in Prague."
Yeah, exactly. So now their marriage is over. It's over for him. It's done. It's done.
I don't think that I would run if I were international. The U.S. might actually make me think differently
Because of gun availability.
because of the availability of firearms. Yeah. It depends on like what color light. I think that I probably would be concerned with getting security to get the person to stop because
that's the hardest.
you're worried about eyesight damage.
Because they're so small, it's like impossible to find the people that are doing that type of thing. In a large room of people, the person just puts the pen away and you don't know who the hell they are.
Well, I mean, that's if it's a pen. Again, if it's the pen size ones, those aren't actually usually those are usually vision safe. You don't want them in your eye at all, but they're vision safe. You can, if you have access to the expensive ones. The expensive ones, I just bought one and it's like that big by like that big, and if you shoot someone in the eye with that, that's actually going to mess up their vision.
Yeah.
So,
man, where's the common sense red light control?
there's no common.
There's
sense.
no common sense laser control.
There's no common sense.
Yeah, I just know if this concert took place in the U.S., all of the people in the comments would be saying, like, this is why we need gun control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is. All right. It's time to talk about the second greatest social experiment ever run next to
Nikocado, yeah.
Avocado.
For the last 5 months, a reality TV star named Josh Sater has been transitioned from male to female publicly. He was wearing makeup, women's outfits and jewelry, painting his nails, the whole 9 yards, and he just revealed to the public that actually this was all a hoax. It was all a big social experiment, he says, he was conducting online to expose how gullible and delusional the left is. And we have a clip from his recent appearance on Alex Stein.
I kind of wish he had done this in like a white lab.
He was just on IRL.
Yeah, he's a
2 weeks
scientist.
ago.
and like the culture war before that. Here we go.
You want to know what's going on?
Yes.
Well, I got to be honest. For the last 5 months, I've been conducting a social experiment online to expose how gullible and how delusional the left is.
We love it, Josh. And now I'm so happy that you came on this program and you're so gracious to fly all the way here from Chicago to come speak with us and talk about how insane the world is that you putting on a woman face, I guess is that the best way to describe it?
Yeah, woman face.
You were accepted by some, you were demonized by most, and now you're saying this was all a ruse, this was a social experiment, and I know you studied sociology. Didn't you major in sociology?
I did, yeah.
So what you did is arguably one of the greatest social experiments of our modern internet age, in my opinion.
Okay, it's up there with Nikocado Avocado.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly, it's less commitment, though.
Yes.
Nikocado had to lose like 200 pounds for
Not
that.
easy. Not easy.
How is Nikocado a social experiment?
He said that he got morbidly obese and pre-recorded a bunch of mukbang videos to post online, making people think that he was obese, and then he did the big reveal at the end where he was like, actually, I'm skinny. I've been losing the weight for the last 2 years.
But he had been Like
He was obese.
Yeah,
But he
okay.
said that he became obese in order to.
Was there ever
I
really
don't
an
know.
explanation as to what the experiment was?
The
That's-
experiment was to show that people are gullible and they will just believe anything they hear. And Nick Avocado is always 2, maybe even 3 waddles ahead. He's always 3 waddles ahead of the rest of us. But, you know, this was a nice try. I just thought that this was a social experiment from the very beginning. I thought we were all in on it.
Yeah, I mean, there was some lack of effort on the facial hair.
He didn't grow out his hair.
Well,
He
yeah,
kept his
I mean,
beard.
you're right, but that creepy Jeffrey got
That's a good point.
What's
yeah,
his name?
I know who you're talking about.
I know who you're
TikTok
talking about, but
guy.
it's a trans activist on TikTok if you're unaware.
He's awful, and he's
got the
clearly-
5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, all the time.
So I guess it, like, visually, from a visual standpoint, it could have been believable, but I don't know.
The point is that it doesn't matter. You're not allowed to question it
Yeah.
at all, and that's kind of the selling point for the social experiment is that it doesn't matter how much effort you put in. You have to rigidly conform to what the social dogma is, which is to accept it no matter what.
Sater originally came out as a transgender woman in May 2024 and was greeted with a slew of death threats that he claimed made him, quote, fear for his safety all the time. He claimed throughout his faux journey that he believed people did not need to take anything to be a trans woman, referring to hormone replacement therapies or elective surgeries. And the last 5 months of his life have been a ruse to highlight how gullible the left is.
I mean, that's a lot of commitment to have to do all that.
I think a lot of trans women are turned on at the thought of themselves being women. Guess what? It doesn't magically make them women, he said.
It's called autogynephilia.
Yeah. He said, we live in a free country. You can do whatever you want, but don't make your fetish my truth. I don't have to accept it. I faked being a faker. I pretended to be a pretender.
Wait, does that
It's very
rule it
meta.
out? Does that rule it out then? If you fake being a faker, you're just not a faker.
It just cancels itself
Yeah.
out. I genuinely just thought that everyone knew this was a joke the entire time.
It didn't ever ring true to me.
It didn't
It
for
didn't
me
ever
either.
ring, but also part of it is like we spend so much time every day reading and absorbing these types of stories that all you're really exposed to from the 9 to 5 workday.
Yeah, we
is
regard
the-
everything with
Is
suspicion.
the worst of humanity trying to become famous in a lot of ways.
He said that when he first started his social experiment, he was met with intolerance, bigotry, and gatekeeping from all sides, including from transgender people and members of the LGBTQIA+ community. Because I assume they were all skeptical of how authentic he was being.
But aren't you supposed to be accepting no matter what?
You're
not
supposed to,
be
yeah,
skeptical?
to take people at their word for who they are.
Believe all women.
So he started this interview with Alex Stein with a full face of makeup, wearing a scarf with the transgender flag colors, and he had one of the staff on the show come and wipe his makeup off and unveiled his hoax to the camera.
A lot of work goes into such things.
I appreciate the creativity. I don't think anyone else would be able to go out on a limb,
When does this
make a
all-
fool of themselves like this.
What comes after this? Because we're in a moment in time. It feels like forever, but the last 10 to 15 years have been a moment in time.
Eternal damnation comes next.
What comes after this?
Smiting.
It only gets worse. One of the things that we were gonna talk about that I ended up moving to another day is like Lieutenant Dan and the life cycle of an online celebrity now, where the internet takes interest for about 8 seconds and then it all kind of implodes because we no longer live in the age of the ivory tower on the internet, meaning that the road to fame can be made on your own rather than through tastemakers like it used to be. You used to have a Hollywood agent or somebody who worked for a network, an executive had to make you famous. Now the internet uses irony and doomerism to pick their celebrities, and the life cycle of one of these is very, very short. Hawk Tuah Girl is the best example of carrying out your moment and really, really capitalizing on your success.
Good for her, by the way.
Yeah, she's handled it better. She has handled the process of instantly becoming a so-called niche internet micro celebrity better than 99% of the people who that has happened to.
I mean, she's become a meme, but she's embraced the meme to her own benefit,
Like,
in the way a Logan Paul has, right? Like that's
Yeah.
why she's working with Logan and Jake Paul's company, You know, you can be critical of what it means to be a celebrity these days, and that's what most people would say when they talk about her. They say, well, you know, all it takes to be famous now is to say something raunchy. It's like, well, yeah, in a lot of ways, I suppose that's true, but people have been making those claims since reality TV became a thing.
Do you remember Bagel Shop guy, Phil?
No. Wait.
He was this really short guy who went on a rant in a bagel shop about how women don't like dating short guys. And this was back in 2019. I just sent you the link to the video, Brett, if you want to pull that up.
Yep, hold on.
But he also went on a major crash out after this happened to him, after the video went viral, and people found out he had a history of doing stuff like this.
Why is it okay
Here's
for
the
women
video.
to say, oh, you're 5 feet on dating sites? You should be dead? That's okay?
Who said that to you here? Nobody.
Women in general have said it on dating sites. You think I'm making that shit up? Everywhere I go, I get the same smirk with the biting lip.
This is not helping.
Shut your mouth. You're not God or my father or my boss.
No, but I am bigger than you.
Dude, you want to step outside? You want to step outside? Huh? I'm not scared of you, pal. Enough. You shut up, too. Go ahead and attack me, big.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Bagels. I recorded the whole thing. Absolutely.
Okay.
Like, he definitely started that altercation.
Yes.
That
Of
course
was
he did.
Completely his fault.
The worst type of short man syndrome.
His name was Chris Morgan. I wonder if we're distantly related.
Now, is this what he does? Like, that's his shtick?
Well, I mean, they found out later on that he had a history of starting loud public confrontations, and it was sparked by his perceived harassment and slighting due to his height. So he was involved in several previous altercations around Long Island before this even happened.
This is where I once again give you your weekly reminder: never piss off a short cop.
I want to show one of Josh
that's
Sater's
true.
TikToks from June this year, where he was heavily committing to the bit and saying his thoughts about detransitioning.
Here we go.
Hey everyone! So I just wanted to jump on here. Sorry, I'm looking like a mess today. And address some comments that I keep seeing. I keep seeing things like, oh, she's gonna regret this. Oh, she's gonna change her mind in 3 months. She's gonna detransition. Seeing comments like that is really hurtful. My decision to transition was not an easy one. It was something that I made with the encouragement of loved ones and medical professionals, and it was not something that was easily arrived at. So I understand that I can't control what people comment or how they view my transition, but I would just ask that you think before you comment and ask yourself if what you're saying is productive, is it kind, and I think we'd all be a little better off if we just thought before we commented.
It's ma'am!
This is
It's ma'am! And you know what? I think that Josh Sater's psychological experiment on the public actually worked, because I'm looking at some of these comments and people were legitimately fooled by this. I see mostly women praising him in the comments, taking him at his word. One said, "Slay queen, you do you. Don't let people decide what's best for you." Another one said, "Love your eyes. Shape the brows and they will pop." They're giving makeup advice. Like, this is a bunch of women affirming someone who was very obviously trying to fool them, and he got the reaction he was looking for.
Yeah. Yep. This is the world we live in now, where there's no upper echelon of people telling you who and what gets famous. A lot of people blame Hollywood for all of the things that are going on now, and certainly they play a role. But this is happening all on its own without the help of Hollywood, just by giving everyone a phone and access to the same social media sites.
It is so shocking how gullible people have stayed, knowing that, you know, everyone has a phone in their pocket. You should be jaded by now.
I mean, how many times do you see a very clearly marked skit that's used as some type of commentary on the gender roles or things, or gender issues and things like that? Things where you see videos and you're like, well, that's very clearly not real.
There's an acting troupe that creates skits like that.
On airplanes.
On airplanes, in classrooms, and I recognize them at this point because they film so many of these skits, but every time one comes out, people repost it thinking that it's real and making social commentary based on
All
it.
the world is a stage now, and it's because the phone is in your pocket. I maintain the internet should have stopped before you had the internet on your phone with unlimited data. That's where technology should have stopped evolving.
I guess props to Josh. You're living your truth, King.
All right. What would you guys like to see? Cringe or cute of the day? Or we can start with Brainrot.
I think we should start with Brainrot.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
We'll start with Brainrot first. I don't know. I can't vouch for the audio quality on this one yet. But this one, you guys have all seen Star Wars. Well, this is Riz Wars.
Okay.
Here we go.
But we do not grant you the rank of a Rizzler.
What? How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair. How can you be on the council and not be a Rizzler?
Start mewing, young Skywalker.
Whoa. The Chad face.
Yeah.
I have more Riz than the Chancellor. I can mog him.
Ah, look at Padme.
I don't want to hear any more about Obi-Wan. The Jedi mocked me. Don't you
Chad
mock
May
me.
is what they call her.
Padme.
Just so you know, the person who says, I am dumber and have lost brain cells for having watched this. Yes, that is true, but he finished it with like a smiling emoji. So clearly he was happy to have lost those brain cells.
Yeah, just smoothing out all of those wrinkles in our brain.
That's exactly
every
the
day.
point for all of it. And this is, so the worst part is now that I save Brainrot content for Brainrot of the Day, my entire Instagram feed is just the most, I'm already dumb, I get dumber every day as soon as I log into Instagram.
I'm glad it's you, not me.
Yes. All right, what would you like to see, cringe or cute?
We can start with cute, I guess.
Start with cute? Okay.
Why do you always start with cute?
Phil,
You want to start with cringe? Then?
Phil,
start with cringe.
No, we'll do cringe first. Phil,
Okay.
Phil seemed to feel strongly on the subject.
Your
here.
point
Let's
of
go
privilege.
ahead and let's do cringe of the day here first. Mary sent me this one before the show. I have not watched it yet. Well, how does it rank in comparison to some of the other ones?
Oh, it's not that bad.
Okay,
It's
here
not
we
that
go.
bad. It's more funny. Officers get owned by Taco Bell fans.
Battle Creek. There we go. That's one. Yeah, we can do that. We can go to Battle Creek. Yeah. I like those mushroom Swiss.
Hello.
And then the spicy chicken.
Are we not being verbal?
Yeah. Yeah, mushroom Swiss does sound
We're
really
just
good.
trying to have a conversation. We're not trying to yell at you guys.
I do like the Crunch Wrap Supreme. Yeah, cheesy beanie mushroom.
They completely mogged the police officers.
I like the burrito supreme. It's
They're charging $5 for that.
Are they really?
damn thing now.
Really? It must be that sour cream.
Either
that's
way,
in there.
can we just have a
Yeah, they
civil
must be putting extra sour cream in
conversation
it.
about this?
Right. I always add extra sour cream.
Yeah, really, it does.
Just for one simple burrito that I can make at home.
She gets fed up and she
Right,
walks over to
right.
the male cop
It is crazy.
for backup.
Totally insane.
Gentlemen, can we have a conversation about what's going on? I just at least want to have a talk with you.
At least the sound of the bathroom drowning out that music over there.
It is, yeah.
That's
It
a
is
no,
nice.
officer.
Maybe we don't have to mute our...
He hands her the card that says, I will not engage in conversation pursuant to my 4th and 5th Amendment rights.
That's what he
Right.
did?
No, he
I was
should have
worried
done
about
that.
Yeah.
first, but it didn't travel this far. I was worried that the music was going to.
She's like, will you come help me with these guys?
Yeah.
What are we to do?
Well, they're at a Checkers, too. Talking about Taco Bell at Checkers.
Yeah, where's the Taco Bell?
Mad.
She's so mad.
It's like they won't talk to me.
His mustache is very on brand.
Love that for them.
Love that for them. Good for them.
We have some cute as well.
Yes, we
feel
do.
cringy at
Okay, let's go ahead and see this here. For cute of the day, I've allowed us to skip the line.
Okay,
I have
that's fine.
moved up.
You're allowed.
So
Toast.
we adopted a cat yesterday. Me and Olivia adopted a cat. And Olivia decided to submit for cute of the day. Point of privilege,
Yeah.
as you said. Everybody meet Toast. Government name Toaster Strudel.
Government name.
She'll never be called Toaster Strudel. It's just
course
Toast.
not.
Or Toasty, if you're, how you're feeling.
Toasty.
I
I'm
imagine
sure that Toasty will actually be common.
she's acclimating well to her first night in her forever home. Mocha is curious, and I don't think Chloe has noticed. She's already so loved. There she is.
I love white cats. They're so cute.
That is an
Look
amazing
like
photo.
snowballs.
She is.
Love it.
There she
Aw.
was outside, so you can see the color of her eyes there. Right?
Green eyes.
Yes.
Cute.
Very, very cute. So right now she's kept in the office away from the other cats, and they're kind of getting opportunities to kind of sniff each other under the door, and then we open the door and let them kind of peek out at each other. So
I'm just going to say the name doesn't make much sense.
it doesn't need to.
The cat doesn't resemble a piece of toast.
Not everything needs to make sense.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Toast is cute though. Just gonna
Toast is
say the
very
name
cute.
doesn't really.
Oh, and
make sense.
guess who? It's really funny. So whenever you post a pet on Twitter, people get in the comments and they take that as their whole point to post their pets. Lydia
to compete with
Lydia
yours.
got in there and
Aw.
posted. She goes, "Beautiful. Here's her first cousin once removed."
Very cute.
Very cute. Let's do one more here today, guys. This one is from Pope Smitty Great.
Okay. I don't
Hold on,
see it.
please. Let's go there. Is it not showing?
Maybe they deleted it.
They could have.
I don't know.
Let me refresh here and see if it doesn't. Looks like it's still there. No,
I
it's
guess
not
we can't
showing.
pull it up.
Sorry. If you're in the chat today, I apologize. It's not working when we show it up here. So let's do one more here. Joshua James. Let's hope Milton shows up and that all the other ones don't not work. There it is. There's
Yay.
one.
I love Milton.
Milton's eye went right over last night as Cat 2 knocked some branches down, but thankfully we still have power and took no property damage. Ella was sketched out by the branch that fell outside her window, but not so much that she couldn't pose for a few quick photos. Well, it wasn't.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
named Milton.
Oh,
but
okay, got
Milton was happening while this photo was taken.
I see.
Again.
Cute.
All
cat.
right. Thank you, guys. Remember, you can always submit your pets so that they can be featured on the show. Tag me and the show on Twitter at Brett Dasovic and at popculture_show, and use the hashtag PCCPets so that you too can have your pets featured on here. I can't guarantee you'll be able to jump the line, though.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're ready to get started then. The film adaptation for the musical Wicked is coming out next month with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande starring in it. And the actress Cynthia Erivo is far less known than Ariana Grande, and she is making a terrible impression on fans because she just reacted to some fan edits of the movie poster trying to improve upon what was posted officially, saying it's the most offensive thing she has ever seen in her life, and they're trying to erase her. Her feelings are deeply hurt, and this is just peak narcissism and entitlement.
You heard that right. It was the most offensive thing ever to her.
Yeah, the original poster, can we show what they came up with? Because it really sucks.
So this is the original
No one liked
poster
it.
of her. You can see it over there, guys.
There's just no expression on her face whatsoever.
So this is the original, and now here is the poster that it's based off of, the playbill. That's
So you can see in the original poster, the brim of the hat is covering her eyes, and she's smirking, and she has red lipstick. Those are the main differences. So the fans were just really disappointed with what they came up with. It looks like all movie posters now. It's just everything looks like crap. The images are coming out. The first teasers and trailers are coming out. It doesn't look visually appealing. So it was not a personal attack.
And Mary is going to make me go watch that instead of Gladiator 2. It's going to be awesome.
Boo,
It was Kino Corner's decision,
Yeah.
okay? He wanted to review it with
So
us.
here is the edited version of it.
Yeah, so they edited the poster to make it closer to the original. Not a personal attack on the actress whatsoever, but she posted this on her Instagram story yesterday saying, "This is the wildest, most offensive thing I have seen, equal to that awful AI of us fighting,
That's the
equal
most
to
offensive.
people posing the question, is your beep green?"
Put a girl on.
Thank you, guys. Hold, please.
Hold, please.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
So they were asking her if the carpet matches the drapes, essentially. She said, "None of this is funny. None of it is cute. It degrades me. It degrades us. The original poster is an illustration. I am a real-life human being who chose to look right down the barrel of the camera to you, the viewer, because without words, we communicate with our eyes. Our poster is an homage, not an imitation. To edit my face and hide my eyes is to erase me. And that is just deeply hurtful." And then after this, she reposted the actual poster, the unedited version, to remind everyone that it's superior, which it is objectively not. And I just don't understand why you would even say anything in this moment. Why would you ruin the PR for this movie?
Like, you're in a big name movie now. There's thousands of these things being made. Like, did you just wake up one day and on the wrong side of the bed and just, you got up, maybe the first cup of coffee hadn't hit yet, and you're like, this really pisses me off? Like responding to this is insane.
It's so unserious. Another one.
It is very unserious.
In the comments said that one friend that's too woke.
It's not even that, right? Because it's not like this has anything to do. I mean, the part where she says about it degrading you, that's the issue, is that actors, especially actors that are really up their own ass, love the idea of elevating what they do to being some type of high art form that has greater implications for society. Bro,
Like,
you're
it's a freaking
you're
musical.
making corporate slop.
It's
That's
a
what
Wizard
you're
of
doing.
Oz spin-off musical.
It's Hollywood corporate slop. This isn't some movie you put together, with your friends that has a big message. This is just Hollywood corporate slop because
She's
they
mad
understand.
they covered her face.
Yes.
That's all it is. This particular homage to the original actually covered her face, even though the other person on the thing has her face covered as well.
Yes.
It's not like her face is like out there and they hid the other woman. Like, both of them had their face covered in the original one. And she's just mad that instead of having her face covered, or instead of having her full face showing, her face is covered.
It's not like the studio did this. We're not talking about Star Wars hiding Finn.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Star Wars
that's
hiding
a totally
Finn.
different
Or we're not
situation.
talking about Marvel hiding Chadwick Boseman's face in the Black Panther poster.
But look, if they wanted to do that, if the studio funding the movie wanted to hide her face, that's their prerogative, and you shouldn't complain about it, especially not on a public platform.
This person says she's so unserious because she posted this yesterday on her story.
She's literally in the trenches. Come on now.
It's very hard. It's very hard for the average person.
Actually posted that?
Yeah.
I mean, she's probably reposting it from somebody else,
Yeah.
right?
Well, even still.
There's
We have
a
another 20 from number 1. Buy this $20, Mary. We the people demand you see Gladiator 2 instead and not that witch trash. Well, I mean, look, it's the guest's preference.
Yes.
That's what we're going to do.
It's very, very difficult these days for the average person to have any type of empathy for celebrities when they say woe is me. And outside of the most brain dead hyper online stan accounts, when they see somebody making a big deal out of a fan edit and using words like degrading, it's very hard for the average person who works a regular job that they might not even like that much, who has money troubles and has to worry about where their next meal is going to come from or how they're going to pay their bills. They can't look at this seriously.
Well, some
and
people
engage with it without being like, you've got to be kidding me.
Some people are saying it's not that deep, which it's not. But other people are saying that actually it's racist to say that she's invalid for voicing her concerns. One said, of course, people are in the replies invalidating her feelings, but had Ariana Grande posted this, it would be, yes, queen, set your boundaries.
No. It would be worse if it was Ariana Grande because she's a bigger celebrity with more money and more what you like to deem
Why did they
privilege.
force me to erase myself by putting my hand over my face?
She's like, when I whisper at people, I don't put my hand up.
I would be upset if it was Ariana Grande that they actually had her face and then they covered it up because Ariana Grande is actually pretty.
Yeah, sure, but they're trying at least to make it resemble the original, and it didn't land. Another person said, if you're having any reaction to this other than we're sorry and we see you, Cynthia, then you are a part of the problem and need to think of other people's feelings.
I'm not sorry. I don't see you. I refuse to be sorry for something this deeply unserious.
Yeah.
I'm a white Gen X guy. I'm absolutely a part of the problem. I'm fully aware of that.
Like, I refuse to give this the credence. I refuse to give you the ability to treat this as a serious issue.
It's deeply narcissistic because it sounds like it was her insistence in the first place to have her face in the poster, even though no one knows who this chick is. Like, no one knows who she is. She's not as well known of an actress, at least not as well known of a star as Ariana Grande. But now she's insisting that she needs to be the center of attention when that's not the point.
Again, it's Wicked, okay? Like, actually, okay, so this is a Thanksgiving release, right? It'll probably do fine numbers that weekend. She might get the last laugh in all this, but it won't matter because at the end of the day, I'm going to live a happier life because, look, people meme this show all the time. All the time. There are memes made constantly. And look, Shane H. Wilder will be in the chat saying, sorry, Brett, I had to make fun of you for this. Guess what? That's fine.
Can you imagine if we did a meme review for PCC and we were like, this is degrading. How dare you erase me?
It would actually mostly be Shane H. Wilder's material.
But, and here's the thing. Like, if you can't, we're not even asking her to laugh at herself. We're asking her to have a little bit of humility.
Just ignore it or don't say anything at all. It's not your movie, first of all. But where is the attitude that you should consider yourself lucky to be portraying this character that people love?
Also, again, I just want to point out, the most offensive thing she has ever seen. You wouldn't last a week in the...
You wouldn't last a week on X, that's for sure.
It's just, it's kind of shocking to me.
Like, I would understand it even if this were her reaction to, like, AI explicit deep fakes of the characters. Okay, sure. This is not even close. Not even close to that.
And even the part about people asking the question, like, is your
beep
green? You know, you shouldn't be doing that. It's clear. But even then, when they do that, do you know why they ask you those questions? It's not because they actually want to know. It's because they want to get a rise out of you. They want to offend you and get you to react. Imagine being the person who, like, goes out of their way to pose the most disgusting question about the witch's genitals, only to find out that the person who got her to respond just made a Photoshop she just didn't like.
The fragility is crazy.
Right?
One person said,
like, I'm over here saying all sorts of vile shit to her, and it's just a guy covering up her face in a Photoshop?
Someone said she's mad that it's a bad photo, and she's taking it out on the fans instead of the marketing team for the studio. They should have recreated the same poster to a T. Either she couldn't deliver the facial expression or the photographer and editors chose the wrong shot. It is what it is, Cynthia. Nobody is erasing you, so relax.
Your movie's still gonna come out. It's gonna be fun.
You're still getting paid. You already got your paycheck. Move on with your life.
Yeah.
Get to work. Keep it pushing. What do you think the rest of us are doing?
When this came up today and I was reading about it, it was one of those things where, look, I said earlier, I'm a dummy. Okay, I have to, like, read things 2 or 3 times through to make sure that I didn't miss anything, usually because I'm so ADHD, my brain is all over the place. I had to reread through this like 3 times before I sent it to you to make sure that I wasn't missing some big detail about why she was so upset.
No, there's no hidden message. There's nothing to it. She just is that much of a narcissist.
Yeah.
And she is a race-swapped character in this movie, by the way, which I think adds a little extra layer of sensitivity and fragility that didn't need to be there in the first place. So people are overreacting to this.
Are we talking about codes?
Codes?
Yeah, she coded black because she's green.
Oh yeah, she's green, but she is coded black as this character. But I don't think I've seen any other portrayals by a black actress. Is
Guys,
what I'm trying to say.
No matter what anybody tells you, if anybody tells you that you're soft or that you're easily offended, use this as your new baseline.
Yeah, you couldn't do any worse than this. Let's read some super chats. High Voltage 75 said Phil here, but not in the thumbnail. Disappointed.
It's okay.
He's here so often. It's like, it's just another
guy.
Another guy. Shane H. Wilder said, happy Wednesday, Brett, Mary, and Phil. Brett, congrats to you and Olivia on the new loaf.
The cat is very, very adorable and very, very so between Mocha and Chloe.
Cat is a loaf?
Yeah, well, when a cat sits with
their paws underneath.
Yes, all right.
So Toast is kind of right in the middle between Mocha, who is not very affectionate, but very docile, meaning if you pick Mocha up, she just kind of like
limp,
sits there and lets you hold her. Chloe will be affectionate and will come and bother you, usually when you're trying to sleep.
When you say affectionate, do you mean the kind of affectionate where they put their claws out and bite you?
No, she'll like,
No.
So Chloe will spend, like, if you're watching TV in your room, she will spend the whole night sitting on the bed with you. But if you try to touch her, she gets finicky. But then if it's 7 in the morning and you're trying to sleep, she likes to jump up and sleep on top of you while you're sleeping. But it's like, only I'm okay with affection, but only on my terms.
I'm not a cat fan.
And Toast seems to be right in the middle, where Toast is very affectionate, comes up to you, rubs against your legs and stuff.
Toast maybe hasn't come out of her shell yet. You don't know who she is yet.
We'll have to
You
learn
might be surprised
as we go.
Andrew Jacobs said Mocha, Chloe, and checks notes. Toast? Yeah, the name is a little bit incongruent. We have a drink and then a normal name and then a food item.
I have
don't
no
know.
problem with the name.
Shane H. Wilder.
Trust me, I shot down some worse ones.
Can you please tell
I
us?
can't even remember.
No, tell us the other name ideas.
I
wanna
will try to get them tonight, and I'll bring them tomorrow.
Okay, I want to know. Shane H. Wilder said, "Who's whiter, Mary or Toast? They could be twins."
They could.
Mary's
That's a compliment
Mary's
for me.
the whitest girl that I know.
I take pride in that. Corey Anderson said, I love Sydney Sweeney's talents, her big, perky, round talents, even more than her grandparents. Remember that? That was weird.
Or no,
her grandparents watching her sex scenes, dude.
That was...
Why?
There was an article that said, like, Sydney Sweeney's dad walked out of the room after her sex scene, and everyone just responds, after?
And her I think it was her grandfather who told her that she has the best tits in the business.
Whoa!
Why would you say something like that?
But like,
Ew.
you hear that and you're like, you said
like
that
you
out
held
loud.
her as a baby. Ew.
Let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact.
Let's move on from that. To more disturbing news.
Yeah.
The Victoria's Secret fashion show just came back from a long hiatus. They went on hiatus back in 2019 and finally decided to bring it back, and people were really hoping that this would be a return to form for the brand. They would finally bring sexy back, and that is unfortunately not what happened. They missed the mark again.
Dudes.
Well, dudes and women. I think that this was the Victoria's Secret fashion show at its prime, appealed to both men and women because it was fun, it was pink, it was glittery. All of the models were just seen smiling and giggling, and they had bouncy hair, and everything was just so girly, but it was also okay for women to be hot at the time in the 2000s. That is no longer okay. So I saw some positive takes. Friend of the show, Andrea Mew, said 6 years of woke cannot prevent sexy from coming back.
Yes, it can.
Morgan said the world is healing. Victoria's Secret fashion shows are back. We want the angels, not LGBTQ plus obese models.
I'm sorry, but modernity was always going to push this over the edge. This was never going back to what it was.
Another one said Victoria's Secret fashion show is back. The girls are skinnier than ever, which means the body positivity fatty era is over.
It's not
over.
Here's the problem. That's a lot of people that they have to send down that runway. It's too sweet of an opportunity for them not to just sneak one of them in there, right? Like even if it's just Ashley Graham, they're like, look.
Well, it wasn't just that. There were several overweight models, and not only that, there were also 2 transgender models.
I also want to point out here, guys, like when you make these comments, nobody is saying like people will be like, well, what about you? You don't look like a model. It's like, that's not the point. That's not the point. It's not sour grapes. It's a commentary on where brands are taking their media.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a little on topic, but Cher performed at the Victoria's Secrets thing last night.
Mm-hmm.
She is 78 years old. She's like right there with the Donald Trump age and stuff.
Different generation.
She actually still looks good.
Cher?
Yeah.
She's definitely not as bad as Madonna.
No,
right
Madonna
now.
looks...
But here's the thing. I still think that was a bad choice. Who I think should have performed last night was Sabrina Carpenter. Obviously.
I just put the link in.
It couldn't be more obvious.
In the Slack. Oh no, that's not the right thing.
It would have made perfect sense to have Sabrina Carpenter there. It was almost too obvious.
I guess she was busy with her tour. They couldn't make it work. But more than there's an issue of the fact that you have to force inclusivity. It's also just not the same vibe. The vibe was just off. It was not fun. It was not fun, fancy free. It was not flirty.
Modernity and social justice are the antithesis of fun. Because you have to think about it, right? So while the skinny women are out there laughing and dancing around and walking the runway and walking back, that's fun. That's fancy free. You get to just do that and not think about it. The second you put someone else out there, you have to worry about what the proper response is. You have to have the right words to say about it. There is no freedom in that type of message.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I saw so many people saying like, wow, they finally brought it back and we're back in the 2000s. Skinny is back, sexy is back. But you must not have been paying much attention because, they did make sure to include trans models. They did make sure to include overweight models, not just people who were, as you said, grandfathered in from past eras, but also
show a couple
new
of them here.
Models.
So I said, okay, Tyra Banks is a legend.
Sure. Yes, totally.
Tyra Banks is a legend.
No problem with her. We have Gigi Hadid who opened the show.
Doing her best Taylor Swift impression because they're both friends.
Yes.
Yep.
That's all fine. Bella Hadid was there as well.
And they're staples of the industry.
Adriana Lima also they brought back. She looks great. Not sure what that plaid getup is, but okay. So this seems normal so far.
Yep.
We're fine. And then we get to some problem areas.
So even Ashley Graham was the first of the body positive models because she had this the Sports Illustrated cover years ago that you could say is like the beginning.
Or like Kate Upton as well. She was also seen as plus size back in the day.
Kate Upton was never up.
She was never actually overweight.
You know what it is? It's like when they show pictures of George Costanza and they say this is what comically fat looked like.
But show more of these photos because there were even more plus size models in the lineup here. Like this is, I mean, if you want to have a fashion show where you have a diversity of body types, that's fine. It just can't be this one, you know?
The point is you're selling an image. You should be selling an image.
It's not aspirational.
Exactly. This is something that we've been talking about on this show for a while. We want to see aspiration.
Yes.
You want to see the ideal. I don't want to see reality and mundane things. I want to see the aspirational thing.
It's
That's
weird.
what I want in. I want your advertisements to imply that the aspirational is attainable for me. That's the whole point of advertisement, to get me to want to buy something.
Yeah. I feel like this is still a gendered issue. I kind of harp on this. It's like when you watch the superhero movies, right? It is a foregone conclusion that the men are going to be jacked beyond all belief.
And that men in the audience aren't going to whine about it.
But I think that women are swinging back because based on the responses I saw from a lot of women on Twitter, they're not happy with this. They're because this actually was something that appealed to both men and women equally without offending anyone.
The problem is Twitter is a very specific audience. You're going to get more like women like that on Twitter. Like if you took this same conversation to Instagram, you're going to have a vastly different discussion.
I'm seeing some responses. One woman said, "I want to see unobtainable beauty standards, bones and voluminous hair. They can keep all the other stuff."
Correct.
Brittany Martinez also posted about this, saying that it was an absolute flop. They just lost that sense of fun, like this was an exclusive, unattainable, cool girls club that you wanted to be a part of. There was no glitter in this one, no pink, no voluptuous waves in their hair. They slicked back Adriana Lima's hair into this tight, the colloquial phrase for it, pardon my language, is the "don't fuck me" bun. Like that's what they did to her hair, and that's not Victoria's Secret fashion show. Yeah. That's not flirty. It's not sexy. It's like they were all trying to outmug each other, and it just didn't hit the same. But people are coming up with all these disingenuous clapbacks saying, "Oh, you're just mad that the models got older. You're just mad that they introduced like non-white models. You're just mad at this and that." No, it's not that. Like, if anything, the OG models being brought back is what people wanted.
Yes.
Regardless of the fact that they've aged over time. Obviously, that happens. We have a 20 from the Based Clone Trooper. Did you know 13% of witches are responsible for over 50% of all crime in the land of Oz? Looking at the mugshots from Emerald City PD shows an unsettling green connection. What socio-witchonomic could have left to this?
Disavow.
Just
Here are
both
some
of
of
us.
the responses defending the show. One said, there are so many new girls, but they hate it because it doesn't fit their agenda of being blonde, skinny, and white. Most new girls are beautiful ethnic girls or slightly plus-sized or trans, and they can't accept that, so they hate
Trans
on a
aren't
whole
girls.
new show instead. You're right. I can't accept that. Most people can't accept that. We shouldn't have to. You're ruining the fun.
Tyra Banks was the first one on there, and people loved Tyra Banks.
Are we
growing
just
up,
going to act
so-
like Tyra Banks and Naomi Campbell never existed?
Yes, they're going to. Absolutely.
Hello?
Yes, they're absolutely going to act like that.
Because you know what it is? It's because it's a hierarchy, right? As soon as you say no, because Naomi Campbell and Tyra Banks, then they go down to the body So they first they start at race, then they go to body type,
gonna act
then they
like-
go to gender, then they go to new genders. There's a list of grievances that you're allowed to criticize here. And again, we're back to the point you made before. It's not fun.
It looked cold, clinical. None of the models looked like they wanted to be there. There was one especially bad clip that I sent you where this model just looks miserable.
She's like,
what is this? She's just like strikes that pose and she's just like,
didn't even hold the pose. She's
I'm
like,
out of here.
I'm out of here. I gotta go.
Bye.
I guess aloof is a style, but
Okay, but it's not the style of the Victoria's Secret fashion show. If this were some kind of editorial fashion runway, I would understand that. But that's not the legacy of this brand.
she looks like her mom forced her to walk.
Yeah, exactly. One said, no blowing fans, no bombshell curls, no glittery pink lip gloss, shimmery makeup, no strutting, barely any energy to feed off from the models, barely any cute wings, not enough cute sets, stage construction looked last minute, and why is it in October? That also doesn't make sense to me.
When did it usually take place?
I believe it was usually either in the spring or summer.
Okay.
If not Christmas.
It's just, this is the problem with so much of entertainment now, is you have to think so hard about all of the social implications of everything that's done these days that the actual purpose is lost.
Yep.
All the fun is gone when you have to worry about the secondary implications of everything.
The point of
that
that
happens.
is women in their underwear. That's the whole point of the Victoria's Secret's fashion show. Women in underwear.
I will say that this is the type of thing that is tailor-made for women to develop neuroses over. So I'm not surprised that this is one of the things that goes. Again, you pointed out conversations on X. If you took this conversation to Instagram, it would be nothing but Yas Queen Slay.
Okay,
it would be nothing but.
But it's
this and that.
performative. They don't really feel that way. You know, when you're overly praising the overweight models and you're overly praising the trans models, I think we all know why you're doing that.
Those are
It's not
guys.
because you think they are hotter than Giselle Bundchen. Like, I can't level with that. That's just
I wonder how it did ratings-wise.
cognitive dissonance. I didn't even hear about it happening until like a day before. They barely marketed it. And it's, aside from all the forced inclusivity and diversity and body positivity shit, it's just a lack of creativity. You know, there's no creative direction. It just looked like they slapped it together at the last minute, barely put any thought into it. There's the vibe is dead. They killed the vibe. There's no bringing it back at this point.
What's the Shein
How have they
fashion?
not learned their lesson? They've lost billions of dollars. Victoria's Secret has lost billions of dollars from forcing inclusivity, and they still haven't let up.
Time for the Shein fashion show.
Right? Like, where are we going to have to go next?
Wait, what's
The
the one?
Temu
What's the one
fashion
big
show.
brand that always advertises with Instagram models? The one
Fashion Nova?
that
Is it that one?
they should do it.
I mean, that's just not the same. It's not the same. It's just cheap, fast fashion shit.
Yeah,
No
but
one
I'm saying
cares
they
about
could,
that.
there's a market to be filled.
It's
there.
not the same. I mean, I can tell you from a woman's perspective, it's just not. It doesn't have the same legacy. No one would care as much.
Shein fashion show.
Are
Everyone
there
will be
any that
thin.
are kind of?
I mean,
As
Fenty, Rihanna's brand is the biggest competitor to them right now, and she does her own fashion shows, but she has like Johnny Depp, like 60-year-old Johnny Depp walking down in boxers, and I'm just like, why? Like, can we just have a normal fashion show with hot women?
They're all skinny
Please.
at the Shein fashion show.
I maybe.
Aren't they all starving?
They're all starving.
Get it?
after
It was a
working in
joke
the factory.
about starving employees.
Okay, let's read some super chats. Shane H. Wilder said the Wicked star needs to get a grip. Y'all don't get upset when I make something. Heck, I turned Phil into Mary Poppins and got a laugh and repost.
See, that's the other thing is like you just court more of the thing that you hate when you react that way.
It's just
like if somebody
not
makes
going to
something
get anyone
that
on your
gets under
side.
your skin and then you respond that way, they're just going to want to do it more.
Right. You're giving them the attention they want. Pop Culture Junkie said, given the Wicked kerfuffle, here's an idea for a new segment, Celebrity Wine of the Day. Lots to choose from. I mean, that's pretty much our show.
I mean, we could change the name
Celebrities
of this.
wine literally every day. So, I mean,
Wine
it's-
they're all wine moms.
You're not wrong.
Greg Duvier said, because there's no tomorrow, I want new album.
Soon.
He's whining.
Coming soon.
2 more.
Trauma Llama said, hey, Brett or Mary, can you tell your boss/father figure to do a cover song of Midge yours? Man Who Sold the World? I don't know if I said that right.
I thought 9 Inch Nails did that song.
We could tell him, but I don't think we will. Corey Anderson said, reality winner is a leader, not a whistleblower. There is a legal difference. Subtle reminder, Sydney Sweeney has massive talents.
So she should have been in that movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
I don't know anything about reality winner or her story, so I just went by what the media was saying.
Okay, let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact.
Okay.
It's time to talk about romances in the air.
Yeah, obviously the dating landscape these days is an absolute hellscape that no one wants to be a part of. There is rampant discussion of how awful dating apps have become and genuinely just how ineffective they are at actually matchmaking. And I think people just feel it's their only option at this point. But there is a secret third option, and it's Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. It's X. Elon Musk is now responsible for bringing together future married couples.
Okay, you're gonna have to.
And this is
explain
something people don't talk about enough. I just feel like it's kind of everyone knows it. It's like an open secret that people are getting married from meeting on Twitter, but it's still seen as like kind of a shameful thing. But the other day, the official X account said mutuals becoming IRL friends. And I pointed out it's actually more so mutuals becoming couples and then getting married and having Twitter babies. And I know this because I have multiple friends who met their spouses on Twitter. Do you guys, or is that just me?
I don't know anybody that met their. I mean, maybe I do, and they just never told me.
Do you?
I don't know any. Like, I don't have a lot of friends that use X.
Okay.
But I do know mutuals that have met on X, and I've read a bunch of stories about it.
Yeah, it's a big thing. I saw some testimonials. One person said, I think Twitter is way better than dating apps for meeting a potential spouse. You get to observe their tweets, view their media, interact with them in a relaxed way, and make the move when you're ready. It's how I met my wife, and we're happily married.
It is fair to point out that most of the time, when you meet somebody on a dating app, or at least I would assume, is like you're putting up a facade of your interests and this, and that. Whereas when you interact with someone on an application where the whole point is for you to deliver, sound bites that are windows into your personality, that makes perfect sense, I guess.
Yeah, it's actually the dating app for the people who call themselves sapiosexuals. I hate that term so much.
Sapio.
Sapio? I don't know.
What does that mean?
It's people who claim to be attracted to intelligence.
Oh,
so if you're using Twitter as a dating app, it means you get to evaluate a person based on their thoughts.
So there is
not just images.
There are. I've read stories. I'm not sure if there's studies or anything, but stories about that Twitter has higher, like an average higher IQ because of the type of the way that
the way you interact with it. It's
not just the way that you interact, but the if you're going to Twitter, you're not just going for pictures. You're going to read, you're going for articles, you're going for information more so than, whereas if you go to Instagram, you're going for memes, you're going for reels, you're going for things that are spoon-fed to you, which is TikTok and Instagram and YouTube to some degree. Whereas on Twitter, you're actually going for articles, you're going for things that you're interested in. So there is an argument to be made that there are the average user on X has a higher IQ than the average user on other things. Also, the way that things are laid out, this is definitely better than your dating apps, because the dating apps, first of all, they're only good for guys, for a very small portion of guys. Otherwise, you have to throw, we were talking about this before. This guy that was on tour with us.
You had a guitar tech.
We had a guitar tech that
the bagel guy.
This clown actually climbed out of the back window of the bus when he quit. Like, he just split. We were fine with it, but he was a mess. But he used to do this. He would just go and swipe like this, and he would, because he was just casting his net as wide as possible, because he wasn't particularly attractive, and he wasn't going to get any kind of serious responses from anyone. And that's something that most people talk about, most guys at least talk about on Twitter. Women have an inbox full of every different kind of guy that they could possibly imagine, and men have an empty inbox. And you hear girls talk about, oh, my guy friend said that he never made blah blah blah, never connected, so I made an account for him with pictures of him, so that way I could try to help guide the stuff to make it so that way it would seem more attractive to women, because I figured he was doing something wrong. And when they're running it, they're like, this is horrifying. Yeah. How do you guys deal with this? Because women generally don't approach guys unless they're the top, best looking guys that have all of the things they're looking for. Then a woman will say, well, it's worth a shot. But otherwise, they don't give average to middle of the road guys a chance at all. Whereas guys will go ahead and give any woman a chance, because like I said, that guy that was our guitar tech, whatever, I don't care, just give me a shot, Whereas Twitter, you'll get to know someone from their posts, you'll get to know something
their sense
from
of humor,
how they interact with other people, and then you're like, oh, I kind of like this person. You can talk in a normal way instead of sliding into the DMs. You can just talk to them on the timeline, and if they respond, well, I mean, it's just a much better option.
We have a couple 20s. Carnell said, there's a trailer out I wanted to bring to y'all's attention. It's a doc called The Coddling of the American Mind. Film Threat covered it on their channel. It looks interesting enough that you guys would cover it on the show.
Based on the book by Jonathan Haidt?
I don't know if it's based on that or what. I haven't seen the trailer, but we'll take a look. Then. We have another from V. Witt. I have many friends back in the day that met their match in World of Warcraft. It was quite common at the peak of its popularity. Yep. You got to know them through gameplay and got a feel for how well you work as a team.
Well, all right,
yeah. It's just a different medium, and the way I feel dating apps work now is just passive, cheap consumption of people in a visual medium, and you're just swiping. It's dehumanizing just the way that it works. Mm-hmm. There is no depth to it, and that's probably why it works in such an asymmetrical way for the sexes, where most of the men are having a hard time getting any matches, and the women are, for the most part, getting flooded with matches, so they get decision anxiety.
Or they feel like they if you've got an inbox full of dudes, you're like, I must be hot, and maybe it's not that you're hot, it's just that dudes are tossing themselves at your feet.
The ugly guitar tech is going like this on everybody, and
Well, I mean, that is true. It's like if you're a guy that's not getting responses, then your instinct is going to be, well, I'm going to go ahead and swipe right on more people, right? Mm-hmm. And guys are less selective than women are when it comes to giving someone a shot. So it's like if you're an average woman that's not that's not grossly obese, you probably have a huge a selection.
It's crazy how low the standards are these days.
It is in the basement.
It's in the depths of hell,
especially on stuff like that. It can't be You know, it's got to be incredibly
It's also
low.
very, very bad for long-term relationships because with dating apps and social media, everyone thinks that the next best thing is just right around the corner, and there's maybe you could do just a little bit better. Nobody wants to build anything. Nobody wants to find somebody, build a life with them, and do that again.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. It's just nobody wants to build anything together anymore. Everybody wants to keep looking for maybe there's just something a little bit better that I could do. I kind of attribute that to the way our culture has always been, which is never settle for less than what you think you deserve without realizing that maybe what you deserve is to find somebody that you match with and then build something together rather than hoping that the next person is just a little bit better than the one before.
I mean, I've said the sooner you realize you don't deserve anything, the better.
All the time.
The happier you'll be.
The less you expect from the world, the less you feel you're entitled to, the happier you will be. I cannot stress how right you are.
None of this is conducive to long-term committed relationships between people who share each other's values and also more superficial things, but that are still important, like your sense of humor. Yeah. And Twitter is, on the other hand, a much better option.
Do you think sense of humor is superficial?
No, I'm saying it's more superficial than sharing each other's foundational beliefs.
Okay. But
it's still incredibly important.
First thing I ever sent Olivia was a meme about Stalin.
That's a real, sharing memes is a real, bonding experience where you get to vet someone.
The very first thing I ever sent her was a meme of Joseph Stalin. Says, dark humor is like food. Not everybody gets it.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah. That's
dating tips from Brett Dassler.
Exactly.
2024.
Get it with the memes, guys.
But there's a whole hashtag we met on Twitter where you can see all of these countless couples saying that, one of them slid into the DMs or they were mutuals and they got to know each other in a more organic fashion, as weird as that sounds. And it's all the same when someone reports that they met their spouse online, but there is a huge difference, I think. And that's not to say no one has found their match on Tinder. I know people who know people that got married from meeting on Tinder. It's not unheard of, but it's not ideal, to say the least.
I'm surprised about Tinder. I wouldn't be so surprised about something like Bumble or...
Well, it's just because Tinder is the most popular one, or at least it has been for a while.
I thought Tinder was the grossest one, but...
It is, I think, the grossest one if you count out, Grindr.
Because,
But yeah, there are some that are perceived as more respectable and...
Yeah, I thought Match.com.
Hinge. I mean,
because the thing is, I thought Match or Hinge or what's the other one?
OkCupid or
they do things like you actually have to talk about
prompts,
yourself.
Things like that.
Stuff, and you can actually read
And Tinder, it's literally just me in a bikini. It's just that's not your personality. I saw a headline actually from last year saying, I was bored, frustrated, and tipsy when I posted a selfie on Twitter asking if anyone wanted to marry me. But the post led me to my soulmate, and we married exactly 3 years later.
That's sweet.
Amazing.
Isn't that nice?
Amazing.
And there are actually celebrity examples of this happening. John Mulaney and Olivia Munn met because I believe one of them slid into the DMs.
On Twitter?
On Twitter, yeah.
Wow.
Phoebe Bridgers and Paul Mescal, and Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra, among others.
Nice.
Okay.
So it's not just... celebrities, it's also ordinary people.
You're looking for the less vapid female celebrities. You look for them on Twitter rather than Instagram, maybe?
Yeah. So I think that this is a far less sexualized, actually, way to meet people because it's not a visual medium.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. And almost like you get shunned if you post too many pictures on...
Yeah, it's frowned upon, at least on our corner of Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest of it, but everyone says it's not Instagram. Go over to Instagram if you're trying to post selfies.
Yeah, you can if you're posting videos though. People don't seem to complain.
No, yeah.
So
it is true,
but there's just more substance to it.
They're vastly different. I actually think that my brain, you could probably run a scan in my brain of me when I'm on Instagram as opposed to me when I'm on Twitter. Which, like I said, my Instagram is basically nothing but skating and brain rot, and Twitter is obviously a very, very different experience.
Mm-hmm.
Well, say what you will about Elon, you can think that he's just another evil billionaire but
If you think that, you're stupid.
if you think that, you're stupid, but also just be objective. He's actually helping people meet their soulmates.
I mean, look, the guy is doing his best to help humanity thrive. He's trying to get people together to make kids. He advocates making kids.
I have held Twitter babies. It's real.
That's great.
It's a real phenomenon.
He's trying to get people and trying to get human beings off of Earth in case something bad happens to Earth, which is possible, you know?
Literally having rockets be hugged as they come back into atmosphere.
That is so sick.
Yep.
I wouldn't doubt that Elon slides into DMs.
Oh,
I think that's
yeah.
how
He's
he
got
met
12
I think
kids,
that's
of course
actually
he does.
how he met one of his baby mamas.
I'm sure that he does.
Yeah. All right, let's finish up these super chats. Greg Duvier said Mary needs laser eyes in the new thumbnail. Well, I don't know if that's going to be possible on a daily basis to put laser eyes.
It's a lot of work.
Drewish AF said, got my son to mass this week. We are joining. Heart emoji.
Good stuff.
Nice. Thank you for the update. Sounds like you're doing the right thing. Shane H. Wilder said, Phil hears word he doesn't like and handles it with ease. Brett hears nourishing and loses his ever-loving mind. What was that thing we were sent? It was like news that nourishes.
Yeah.
That's our show.
There was also like
content.
some restaurant whenever I go back to Minnesota that has nourishing in the name. And again, I have to point out, guys, it's not the word itself. It's the context that it's used in by dorky crunchies who want to use it in conjunction with a bunch of fitness advice that I'm going to tell them to piss off about.
They're all just trying to stop you from having fun.
And it's usually when they're saying, nourish your body with yummy food. And I just want to call them children.
They say that,
shut up.
But then it's like a photo of the most disgusting food you've ever seen in your life.
It's like, ooh, a bunch of oats and a banana. Bite me.
No, not even that. Like raw liver mixed with raw milk and honey in a bowl. Like, that's actually the nourishing, yummy food they're talking about.
You just dislike one word.
Like, no thanks. I'm going to eat Taco Bell. Thank you very much. Prometheus 1987 said, just wanted to announce baby number 4 officially under construction.
There we
Another
go.
crisis actor, conservative metalhead, and LDS member.
Okay.
Well, congrats. That's awesome.
LDS, Church of Latter-day Saints?
Yes, he's
Oh,
Mormon.
okay.
Corey Anderson said DFAS is our pay system and they're notorious for overpaying and then taking the money back at inopportune times.
It's just
DTS
put you
is
in your
worse
place.
than DFAS. Okay.
I was reading about Prince the other day and never knew that he spent time as a Jehovah's Witness.
Really? Yeah. I feel like I did hear that
He was very
somewhere.
he was very religious.
Are there Mormon celebrities?
I knew that Prince was very religious, but
me see.
growing up in Minnesota, obviously you listen to a lot of Prince, and Prince is a huge part of the culture. But somehow I never knew that.
Okay, so Ryan Gosling grew up Mormon.
Okay.
Amy Adams also was raised LDS. Catherine Hagel. Heigl, sorry. Christina Aguilera was also raised Mormon. Lots of people. That's surprising. Nightbreed said Sydney needs to make a Bigfoot horror flick with a decent budget, no CGI. It'd be the first time I'd watch her in something. Hail Albino Gal and Co.
I'm down with a Bigfoot horror movie.
With Sydney Sweeney?
Yeah.
Where she plays Bigfoot?
I'm not 100% anti-CGI. I am pro practical effects when they work, but there are times, and I'm definitely not like, I don't like when they use 100% CGI. I like practical effects, but I'm also like, don't think that all CGI is bad. There are times
the
and
point
places
is
for it.
to not have to film in CGI warehouses.
Yes.
In green screen warehouses. You can do good layered CGI effects. It has to be filmed in a practical location.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think you could get away with Bigfoot with practical effects and camera angles. Godzilla, you
Not
gotta
so
use.
much.
Yeah, I mean, you could use miniatures, but that's a whole nother thing. You can't. Not everybody can make Godzilla -1.
Yeah. Drewish AF said, I love Something Left Over Guy and crisis actors.
Cheers.
Something Left Over Guy.
I get that now. It's
Strawberry Mochi said, popping in late but excited to see everyone, especially Phil. Next time you're on tour, I'm taking my dad to see you if you're in our state.
Cheers. What state? Well, actually,
have to
send us a super
Get back to us if you heard that. Potatoes for Seamus said, Phil, when's the Hannah Claire / Phil wedding day?
No.
What's with all the weird shippers?
I put up a picture of me and a friend of mine that I like in on my Instagram.
That's the most wholesome thing I've ever heard.
People think that it's Hannah Claire, and Hannah Claire is a wonderful person, but that is not Hannah Claire on my Instagram page.
Literally is just a white woman, and they're like, it's Hannah Claire. Like, I don't know, you're jumping to conclusions. Shane H. Wilder said when he was on Culture War, didn't everyone think he was faking it? I recall Tim saying he thought Josh was full of ish.
Makes sense.
He was on at night on IRL, and I mean, I didn't blow him up or anything like that, but I was under the impression that it was well known that he was faking. So,
but some people really were fooled by it, unfortunately.
I guess.
Greg Duvier said, if you didn't think Josh was not trolling, you were a gullible person. Well, I guess if you didn't think he was trolling, yes. Nate said, Hawk Tuah chick is just also Alex Cooper.
Yeah, but the thing is there's a lot of women in the world, so there's a market for more than one Alex Cooper.
She's not doing the same thing that Alex Cooper is doing, though.
I mean, kind of. She's turning it into just talking about dudes and
dating and
I listened to half an episode on a day when we were going to talk about it, and I literally felt like I was going to die.
I said that it's like,
and I do mean literally, I was like, I felt like I was having heart palpitations. I was like, I can't do this.
It's really nice of her that she took her friend along for the ride, you know, like her friend now has a job.
She works better with
working on the podcast with her.
She works better with kind of a normie person to kind of play. It plays off the vibe of just girls hanging out. It's fit a certain type of
it's for the girlies.
Yeah.
Watery Events said, hey Phil, so glad ATR is back. Overcome was the soundtrack to my senior year of high school.
Sick. Awesome to hear.
Senior year of high school.
What was the soundtrack to your senior year of high school?
It might have been something like the Black Album by Metallica. That was new when I was in high school, so I think it was either that or it might have been the Chronic, the original, the Chronic by Dr. Dre, because that had taken the country by storm. I'm still a huge Dr. Dre fan, and I think that when did the Chronic actually come out?
What about you?
Not 2001. It was probably all of the underground rap from Minnesota. Atmosphere, unfortunately. Not bands that I liked, but everybody was listening to because everybody that skated had to listen to
it
Unknown
was released.
Prophets and Atmosphere. I liked Sage Francis, but the rest of them. Anticon. There's a bunch of them from that sphere that I always made fun of because I'm like, oh, pseudo-intellectual rap.
So the Chronic was released December 15th, 1992. And so like 1993 was my last, was the year I graduated. So it was like huge.
I forget sometimes that you're from a different era.
I am. Yeah, well, that's because I look young and I am young at heart.
You're hip.
I am hip.
And then he would go on to have more success with the follow-up to the Chronic way later than that. We're talking like
10 years
2001.
later.
I did have a weird Eminem stint in my senior year of high school where I only listened to Eminem for like a whole semester.
I just can't imagine you listening to Eminem.
But imagine me in my school uniform, for my Catholic school, in the car.
Blue and yellow, purple pills. I can't picture you.
That's actually
it was
D12.
literally that.
I know, but
oh yes, and D12 as well. But also I think my last semester of high school was all Dance Gavin Dance and The Story So Far.
Tillian is well, I'm friendly with Tillian on the.
He's not in the
not
band anymore.
No, but you mentioned him. That's why I thought.
Such a shame.
It is.
I just don't understand why. Greg Duvier said, "When do we get derp of the day?"
Never.
I don't know what that even means.
Just something.
Is that mocha?
That's mocha.
Mocha of the day.
There will never be.
DC&C said, "Undercooked toast is just called bread." Brett.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I just wanted to call the cat bread.
That's her real name, Undercooked Toast. Nate said the cat should be called Toast Malone.
I've already made that reference.
That was pitched already?
Yeah.
All right, didn't make the cut.
Also, since I'm watching the show Ghost Whisperer, Toast Whisperer, I'm making many references to the cat.
Yeah, that's not bad. Greg Duvier said, "I miss dip. Put a Lydia on." We would love to put a Lydia on in the future. Yeah. The door's open. Potatoes for Seamus said, "Mary, put Dane in the gulag. Why Mary? ... Mary. Dane is not in the gulag. He's doing just fine. I'm not locking anyone in the dungeon." Gordon Shumway said that actress is throwing accusations of degradation, but will be the first to defend OnlyFans. Shaking my damn head.
Those are the type of comparisons that are just too, like, that's 3 degrees away.
I don't know where the OnlyFans thing came from. Does this chick have an OnlyFans and you didn't know?
That just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, here's the sad thing. You're probably right. She probably would. But since there's no evidence, unless there's like evidence of that, it's just like a non sequitur.
I don't know, man.
Make any sense.
I legit do feel like a woman, it's like 1 in 4 women nowadays have an OnlyFans.
It's definitely not that.
It's
In
not.
fact, we went over the numbers on the show.
It's not even that many. It's like
we looked into the numbers because there was like a whole report about it. I think I guess it was the Washington Examiner, and they calculated like where the OnlyFans creators are located, how many of them are there.
You know what it probably is? It's probably like, it seems like most women that are trying to be personalities on the internet are frequently have an OnlyFans.
There was the article from the Washington Examiner that said about 2% of young women are selling themselves on OnlyFans.
And they're referring to women in the U.S., not just young women overall. So that's 2%, and that's not counting in like the number of those accounts that aren't active on the platform.
They also say there was it says by demographic as of 2023, 33.38% of females and 66.62% of males are users of OnlyFans. So
wait, they said 60% of males are users on OnlyFans. 60% of guys subscribe to someone on OnlyFans.
I don't know.
That sounds way too high.
Does sound high. I mean,
that sounds unbelievable.
We live in a pretty hedonistic culture, Mary.
Ugh. I mean, it's really just the fact that it's so undignified to like pay for it, you know? Like the simping is a whole other level.
I mean, it's a lot of it is like a lot of men, they've got that void in their life, and they're kind of using it to fill it with drugs and stuff like this.
Subscribing to someone on OnlyFans is not going to fill that void, and it doesn't make it any more likely that you'll
shockingly enough
get into a real relationship.
Shockingly enough, I don't think they tell you that on OnlyFans.
I guess that wasn't in the terms and conditions.
I don't think that, like, maybe it is at the bottom of the TOS.
If you listen to the women on the whatever podcast, they make it clear that they don't even respect the guys that are, you know, I mean,
in fact, it's their goal. Their goal is to get married men to subscribe to their OnlyFans, like specifically. They take pride in it. It's disgusting. Strawberry Mochi said already was skeptical because AG can't musical theater well. Oh, Ariana Grande can't musical theater well. But now I'm not even going to go see it. Also, I wish they'd bring the pink dress back.
Okay, what is that saying when they say can't musical theater well?
I don't know. I guess it's just because she's known for doing pop music.
I tell you what, Ariana Grande, or whatever however you pronounce her name, last name is, she is one of the most exceptional vocalists
she's a great singer
I've ever heard in my life. She is incredible. And people like to go ahead and say, people like to go ahead and say they're like, oh, this person does pop, so they must be bad, or they blah, blah, blah. That is patently false, not false. And Ariana Grande is an absolutely amazing vocalist, and if you like, you can criticize someone like Madonna if you want, but Ariana Grande is unquestionably a world-class singer.
She also got her start in musical theater before she was on Nickelodeon. She's a certified theater kid.
Yeah.
And she said it's been her dream to play this character for many, many years.
I also want to point out, since you guys are being wholesome, I'll be mean. They did point to an article where they said, like, Ariana Grande's boyfriend, Ethan Slater, supports her. He's still weird looking. Just thought you want to know.
He's still SpongeBob.
He's still SpongeBob.
You can't come back from that. You can't live that down. Shane H. Wilder said, oh, I got a shout out for my work. I feel so loved. That's what this was about. Or that is what that was, right? Love?
Yes, that was.
It was, you're valid, you're seen, you're heard.
There they are.
He's so weird looking. The fact that he resembles her brother.
That's her current boyfriend?
Yeah, that's her.
Really?
Man. It's weird. I know.
Shoot your shot, Kings.
Hey, you know.
The
Good
worst
for
of those examples is
weird.
the picture. It's like the really bad picture of Jay-Z. They're like, if Jay-Z can pull Beyonce, I'm like, it's Jay-Z.
No, but this guy, genuinely, I don't understand it. The Riz must be nuclear because
But you look at
why?
She was with that comedian dude that
Davidson.
has he's
Yeah.
got everything.
She was with,
level
like,
10 aura, as they say.
Big Sean was her boyfriend before, and she just kind of like morphs into whatever girlfriend she needs to be at the time. Cesario JPN said from 1014 show / yesterday's clip, Simu Liu showing he can't be a proper, I don't know how to say that. What is that?
I don't know.
Wumo. Little Pink dishonored the CCP social credit score minus 666 points.
They're like very, very smart political commentators got involved in the Simu Liu.
Oh,
Boba
what was that?
discussion.
Like about the Taiwan
but
controversy?
very
like,
smart political commentators got into talking about it. They got into talking about all of the things that you're wearing, consuming, using to view things that are all, of course, everything is culturally appropriated from somewhere. I don't know why it's always food that sets people off. It's always food that they seem to pretend like that's the one thing you're not allowed to.
Because they don't know anything about the culture that they're actually saying you culturally appropriated. The only thing that they can discuss are the most obvious and wave top things.
It's the same reason why when you have the discussion about illegal immigration versus legal immigration, and then they bring up food trucks, and you know you're talking to somebody with a below room temperature IQ.
They actually know nothing about the culture that they are extremely offended on behalf of. They are just doing it because that is what you're supposed to say and supposed to think if you're a progressive. And the more outraged that they seem, the more of a good person that they are. It is exhausting.
the food trucks thing is so funny too, because it's like, we landed on the moon. I think that we can figure out how to make a taco recipe.
Okay, yeah.
Without shipping millions of people into this country.
I was telling you the other day about like the person who made the video about going to like being invited over for white people tacos, and everyone's like, they're giving you free food. Why are you dogging on them? Like, why are you being mean to your neighbors?
Yeah.
And to be fair, the comment section passed the vibe check.
Did you see the mom slop tweet that went viral? Mm-mm. This chick just put a bunch of ingredients in her crock pot. It was like sausage, pulled chicken, pasta, cheese, milk, and then she just like cooked it all together. Honestly, by the end of the video, I was like, okay, I would eat that, fine. Like, it's not a Michelin star restaurant. I would still eat it. Yeah. But that became a whole controversy because they were like, how dare she feed her kids this disgusting slop? She could do better. She could definitely do better than that. But
if you take some zucchini, some red sauce, like tomatoes, and some ground beef and some macaroni, put that together with some salt and pepper and some oregano, put that into a pot, and just leave it sit there and kind of bubble all day, that's going to be delicious.
Sounds
and it's
good.
going to feed the whole family.
No, there's nothing wrong with crock pot meals in general. That just was not the best one I've seen.
Dust in the Wind is in the chat slandering Olive Garden, and I will not take
Olive Garden is disgusting.
I will not take Olive Garden
It is.
slander on this show.
No, it really is disgusting.
Overpriced, yes.
It's overpriced and gross. That's
Not
the problem.
gross.
I don't like. It tastes good when you're eating it, and then you just immediately feel like death. And I am not like, I don't have a weak stomach, but I was just like, what is this? This can't be food.
What I realized,
something's just not right here.
What I realized after the fact is that the breadsticks aren't free. It's baked into the price of everything
Well,
else.
yeah, of course.
But I love it. Okay, I love it. You remember that photo that went viral of the couple that posed in front of the Olive Garden for their wedding photos so it looked like they were in Italy?
Yeah.
Good for them.
Life hack.
Yep.
V. Witt said Brett's just naming his cats after breakfast food.
It was not my name choice, but I support it. I will never call her Toaster Strudel.
No.
Ever. As far as I'm concerned, calling something
It's a
strudel
mouthful.
is a sexual reference The Rock would have made back in early days WWE, along with pie.
V. Witt said, do you think Mary's going as a ghost girl this Halloween? Also, late to the show, but I see you've decided to put a girl on. Oh, hi, Brett.
Well, we put a girl on every day.
I don't think I'm going to be dressing up as a ghost for Halloween. Not entirely sure what I'll do yet, but I
know why.
I have had the that's also a risk. I have had the idea to dress up as Anna Delvey in one of her courtroom outfits.
There you go.
Because I bought it.
What about going as what's her name? Not Claire Danes.
What?
From the one trial with the guy in the skier. The skier who hit her going down the hill.
Wait, Gwyneth Paltrow?
Go as Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, I'm not tall enough to pull that off. No. John Quixote said 10 Frostbucks for the return of Phil. I loved your rant about Destiny the other night, dude. Also, did anyone see Tim on Uncensored? There was a screaming tomato and some unhinged chick.
Yeah.
Wicked vid.
Yeah.
What was your rant about Destiny?
Oh,
about?
he's just a piece of garbage. He's a bad person. And
Was there something specific that happened?
Well, yeah, he said something about like if the Democrats lose, it's going to be because of progressives, like the far left progressives. And Destiny is not actually any different than the far left progressives. He's just trying. He's also empowered and lifted up people like Vosh and people like Hassan. Like they got their start by doing stuff with Destiny. So it's his own damn fault. And now he's trying to distance himself from them. And he's made the same horrible allusions to violence that all those guys have. He was laughing about that Corey Campanado guy that died at the Trump thing. He was saying that, I want to get you seats to the next Trump rally. He was saying all kinds of awful things. And you can say that stuff. It's fine, but it's like from Destiny, he's just a garbage person. He's an absolute garbage person. So and I was explaining that position.
Unsurprising. I think they believe they have far more influence than they do.
He has no influence.
Elvin McGoth said, very black-pilled on dating, suffer in silence, and die alone is my future. Smiley face.
Look, I didn't say that for
don't say
public
that.
consumption. When I said that, Mary just copied it and tweeted it.
I think this was our, I think that was Elvin McGoth's own quote. Because you said suffer in silence and die young. You didn't say you had to die alone. Big difference.
That's true.
VWit said Shoe on Head met her husband because he trolled her on Twitter. Now she's married and has a kid. Also put a Shoe on Head on.
I would love to have Shoe on Head on.
That would be awesome. She just doesn't really do appearances like that.
She doesn't. Well, she's definitely not traveling because, like you said, she's got a little one. Like it's still an infant. And Yuta is great. You could probably get Yuta to come on before you get Shoe because Shoe's got to stay. He's going to stay home with the baby.
True.
And Yuta's like
maybe we could get both of them.
Yeah,
maybe.
The baby can come too.
Yeah, sure.
Put a playpen back there.
Yes.
Put a baby on.
Put a baby on.
Nate said, how does meeting someone on X work when people ignore their DMs all the time? I literally have to pay to talk to you, and I'm not even trying to smash.
Are you talking to me?
I don't know. Personally, I just don't check my DMs because it's just a cesspool. So
I have 175,000 followers, so my DMs are a mess unless they're people that like I know. So that's why.
I'm just lazy. I don't have a lot of followers. I'm just lazy. I'm sorry. It's nothing personal. If that's
And there are a lot of bots too, and you have to sift through it all. So
I'm closing in on I'm 177.3 now. So I'm sorry that I didn't see your DM, but unless they're people that I follow and that I engage with regularly.
Come on, Phil. He's not even trying to smash.
I'm not concerned with what you're trying to smash.
Shane H. Wilder said, you guys made me have to turn Elon into Cupid. I don't know how I feel about it. Elon makes a creepy winged baby with a bow and arrow.
He did. I didn't realize.
I imagine
he
would. Yes.
It's a very good meme though, Shane.
Nate said you could get away with practical effects with Bigfoot. That's literally all Bigfoot ever was. Was that the joke?
I'm saying if you were to make another, you don't think in the year 2024, if they tried to turn Bigfoot into a movie character, they wouldn't CGI the shit out of him? Are you kidding?
If they made like a cocaine bear with Bigfoot?
I think that he was alluding to the fact that like all Bigfoot sightings are fake and they're actually a dude in a suit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you think.
Ask Tony Merkel.
Prove it, okay? Prove all of them are fake, okay?
Strawberry Mochi said, good old North Carolina. Also, the killer's singer is Mormon. Interesting.
Okay.
So they want you to stop in North Carolina, which I assume you usually would.
It's we do go to North Carolina.
Raleigh and Charlotte.
We did 2 North Carolina shows on the tour with Megadeth. So.
V. Witt said Sydney Sweeney Bigfoot screams of foot fetish. Yeah, maybe that wouldn't be such a good idea.
Have you guys noticed that there are a lot of women that if they put up pictures of themselves and they have bare feet, they're like putting stuff over their feet? Would you do the same?
Probably.
That's hilarious. And more power to you. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, because I know dudes are creepy. It's just hilarious that
but it's also
that's
like
a thing.
It's hard to just avoid your, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like how do you even avoid that? Like, I feel like I've gotten people commenting about my feet before.
I think it's funniest when they do like this picture, right, where it's all cleavage, and then they cover it. They have like, you can see their toe.
Okay, yeah, that makes zero sense.
It totally does, but it's funny when they do it.
Gordon Shumway said, Phil, you graduated same year as I did. My high school was all about Pearl Jam that year. Grunge was all the rage where I lived.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, Pearl Jam 10 had just come out, and it was great. The early 90s were great for music, in my opinion. The 80s were, especially like the late 80s, there's a lot of stuff that was just getting tired. And so the early 90s were awesome, and Dr. Dre and all the gangster rap was huge where I was.
You want to talk about multiculturalism? That's what it was. It was growing up listening to rap, rock, and everything in between. Like that's
is the crisis meter?
Next super chat will.
You got a 20 from the Manic Mustache. Late as usual, but apropos to mogging bagels. Whenever someone congratulates me on being the tallest member of the Lollipop Guild, I remember that I love my life way more than Cynthia Erivo. Stay toxic, my friends. I don't know what most of that means.
That is true, though, that like if you were a suburban kid growing up, at least in my generation, it was a whole bunch of listening to rap. It was listening to everything, right? I always say, my first albums were Spice One, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Tupac, Biggie, E40, Mac Dre, stuff like that. But then, you listen to Live, or you listen to Radiohead, God forbid, later on.
I never listened to a lot of Radiohead.
I
liked Live a lot.
Here's the thing. Like, in the world of skating, like, music would go through trends, right? So videos would feature a lot of the same artists over time. I mentioned Anti-Con and Atmosphere earlier, Deep Puddle Dynamics, stuff like that would be played a lot in videos, but then you had a lot of the same. Every skate video had to have a Radiohead intro. It's so boring. Like, if I wanted to take a bunch of Xanax and pass out, I would just do that. But instead, I have to listen to Radiohead. I don't want to do that.
Burn it. Burn it. Omega Red fan said, because married men are a challenge. Yikes. I mean,
so gross.
They're kind of like using it to virtue signal. They're like, I'm actually helping people in their marriages by doing porn. Yeah.
Look, if you're married, you don't really need to be looking at a ton of porn. I mean, I know there are like dudes in frigid relationships and stuff like that, but if you're in a happy relationship and you're actually sleeping with your wife and you guys are both happy, you probably should avoid porn, because your wife probably doesn't like it. Even if she says I don't mind, it's like, well, you probably should just knock it off, and when you want to get laid, tell your wife, hey, I love you.
Phil's romantic advice.
I mean, it's not particularly romantic, but it's probably true.
It's practical.
I think it's probably true. And again, I'm not saying this is the way for everybody, but you're.
I am.
You play. Fair enough. But you play the odds, right? She's not going to be bummed out if you don't watch porn. If you watch porn, she might be, she might not be. If you don't watch porn, she's not going to be bummed out. You're safe to not do it. Just try and bang your wife.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you for sharing that, Phil. Strawberry Mochi said she has done MT before and wasn't great at it. Musical theater.
Oh.
Well, I never watched Ariana Grande in her musical theater days, so I'm not sure.
I know that she's a great singer, so.
Strawberry Mochi said she was decent, but compared to the pro, Ariana Grande was weak, and I love her. She's a great She's a great singer, but with her previous roles, I was skeptical.
I mean, it is true that like if you take somebody who doesn't do it regularly and then drop them in there, the seasoned veterans are going to stand out against the newbie.
I mean, I have a feeling that Ariana Grande is like going to outshine the star of the movie in an embarrassing way. Jose Quintana sent us a 20. I made it back to NYC from Puerto Rico earlier this morning. Great to see you, Phil and Brett. Marry my ghost queen. I still want to have your baby. Long live PCC.
So
okay.
he wants to have your baby.
No.
He wants to have the baby.
No. I don't think you can get pregnant, first of all, but it's also a no, even if you could. Shane H. Wilder said, Olive Garden is below mid. I got sick every time.
Look, that sounds like a skills issue.
It's not that I got sick, but it was just like my body was rejecting it. I might have had like an immune system response. Like, this is not food. Eject.
Always good when I had it.
I'm just going to start like throwing up Alfredo everywhere. Red Snow said, why is a girl on? Boys, 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 boys. I'll leave. I'll take my coat and see myself out. V. Witt said, Brett, I will not take Olive Garden slander on this show. Mary immediately slanders Olive Garden.
Look, I can't stop her from doing it, but you
I'm
in the
speaking
chat,
my truth.
You in the chat, I cannot accept.
I don't have high standards when it comes to food. That much is obvious. But Olive Garden is somehow worse than everything else that I eat.
Nah.
I eat like a homeless person, and that is like below mid. Rhaegar Targaryen said, who's Anna Delvey? Has Phil had Beetlejuice Fanta?
Ugh.
Have you had Beetlejuice flavored Fanta?
I have not.
Tastes like a
Thank your
craft
lucky
store
stars.
smells.
I will not be having Beetlejuice Fanta.
Anna Delvey is a female white-collar criminal who has captured my heart. Greg Duvier said, going to the gym is nourishing. Phil, did you go?
I went this morning, yeah.
See, again, nourishing doesn't bother me in that context. It doesn't. It's my own self. You know what it is? It's my own self-consciousness when they're yelling at me for not eating properly, which triggers my ego defense system kicking in and being like, "No, you can't say that."
I'm
word,
gonna eat like a 5-year-old.
I'm gonna eat
forever.
like a 5-year-old. That's what it is.
What was the guy's name on Instagram?
Oh,
I don't give a fuck foods.
IDGAF foods. It's like, I don't give a crap if this is filled with heavy metals and lead. Because he's like,
He's a real one for that.
He's like, I used to smoke crack out of a light bulb.
I'm just because that was mentioned, I'm checking Snack Later again. They're making a DiGiorno Thanksgiving pizza.
Oh,
that is horrifying.
that doesn't sound. You will live. to see
Cotton
man-made.
candy flavored Lay's? Ew.
Oh, okay. So here's the other thing. All of these food companies, like nobody sticks to their business anymore. Like everybody has to branch out to doing things other than what they're good at.
Yeah.
Like I said, why are you making Oreo flavored Coke? But worse than that, why are you making Coke flavored Oreos?
Yeah, they need to just find their niche.
They have Funyuns flavored Lay's. Why wouldn't you just buy Funyuns?
I still have yet to try the Krabby Patty at Wendy's.
Gotta do that.
I really need to do that. DCNC said Phil's favorite band was New Kids on the Block. Is this true?
No.
You're not going to beat the allegations.
I had a New Kids on the Block cassette tape that I inherited from my brother.
Do you still have it?
No.
What a shame. Yep. Shane H. Wilder said, live, the only band to work the word placenta. I literally just read that as it was typed into a song. Lightning Crashes is a masterpiece of a song.
That's
to work the word placenta into a song.
It's you know.
High Voltage 75 said, Phil, how do you feel about people who hate dogs?
I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan of those people?
I don't trust them as well.
You don't trust me? I think this is coming up because I said that I hate dogs yesterday. And apparently that's a red flag.
Our flag.
Yeah. Professor Freakoff said, snacks effing suck now. Send me back to the 2000s.
I mean, I do follow many an Instagram channel that are just like, it's like, remember this snack that doesn't exist anymore? And inevitably it hits me with like the 3D Doritos. I'm like, I do want 3D Doritos. I don't know why they tasted better when there was when they were 3D.
I liked Gushers growing up.
Gushers are still around. You can still get Gushers.
Yeah, but it kind of lost its charm.
You can actually buy Gushers at the convenience store now. They make like a convenience store size pack of Gushers. You know?
I think we're all caught up on Superchats.
We are all caught up, and we're going to be here till 5, guys. We got 2 minutes. So before we go, would you hit the like button on this video? And if you are new here and you have watched live, firstly, I want to thank you guys so much for finding this channel and checking this out. But would you please go and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? And there's a couple more.
We have 2 more. Red Snow said, "Get off my back. The Lays are closer to the register."
So you're buying he's buying the Funyuns flavored Lays because they're closer to the register. That is the most American thing ever.
Low impulse control, man. High Voltage 75 said, "Maybe you just haven't found the right dog, Mary." I'm not going to be trying to find a dog. I don't want to have a dog. I will never own a dog. DCNC said, "You reckon the Haitians prefer cats too?" Okay.
Oh, I don't know.
On that note,
with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, again, please subscribe if you've not done so already. And Phil, thank you so much.
Cheers.
Where can they find you?
Oh, yeah. You can find me on Twix at Phil That Remains. I am Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. The band is All That Remains. You can check out our videos, our new videos for Divine, Let You Go, and No Tomorrow on Instagram, or on YouTube, on Spotify. And don't forget, the left lane is for crime.
The left lane is
I'm
for
all
crime.
like messing up my words today.
What is the right lane for?
The right lane is for traveling.
Oh, okay.
The left lane is for passing, and if you're going 65 in the left lane, you're wrong.
I feel
you
attacked.
should be going at
I feel
least
attacked right now.
You should be doing at least 70 in the passing lane.
The Rumbling said, "You skipped my previous message about Denzel Washington. Also, Silver Chair, Weezer, House of Pain were great in mid-90s. I did not see any other message from you."
Okay, there was one. Okay, so thank you for that, Rumbling. I did see one earlier that
We do have a 20 though from Jose Quintana. Best soda, good Ocola. Phil, your opinion of blonde redhead. Do you have an opinion?
What?
They're asking your opinion of blonde redhead.
I'm not sure what they mean by blonde redhead.
I don't either. I don't know.
Okay, so here it was.
And Mary, you should be a mini-me version of Storm for Halloween. Long live PCC.
The X-Men, yeah.
What was the other?
So here it is from the Rumbling. It says, "Brett, you going to watch the next Marvel movie with Denzel Washington? He is going to be the next Doctor Strange. Strudel is a mindful and demure-looking cat." I actually made that comment. I said, in the picture with her little paws crossed while she was under the chair, she did look very mindful and very demure. I can't tell if you're being sarcastic about the Denzel Washington thing.
That one did not show up earlier, so I don't know what happened there. Sorry.
All right, Mary.
You guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. Are you okay over there, Phil?
He's good. All right, and then there's one more there from Gordon Shumway.
I don't see it yet.
It says, wait, why did your brother have a New Kids on the Block cassette? Was he into boy bands, or was that were teenage girl heartthrobs? Please tell me your... What?
Tell me you have something given him shit for that.
Maybe Marky, maybe just like Marky Mark too, and it was all part of the time. I'm assuming it was his. Maybe it was somebody else's. Maybe I just ended up with it somehow. I just know that it was before my time. Maybe my mom had the New Kids on the Block.
It was
tape.
a hand-me-down.
Yeah, I just know that I had it. Maybe my parents just bought it for me.
Family heirloom.
Yeah.
The New Kids on the Block cassette tape.
I also had Weird Al Yankovic on cassette tape too. Is that a problem? I don't think so.
It might be a problem.
The Rumbling
said he's going to be the villain in the next movie.
Oh, that's awesome. Denzel Washington rules, especially as a villain. All right, guys, if you want to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you prefer to listen rather than watch the show. Specifically, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please go over there. They can rate and review.
Yes, they can rate us on Spotify out of 5 stars or give us a review on Apple Podcasts.
And if you want to follow the show on social media, Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and not TikTok at popculturecrisis, and on Instagram at popculturecrisispod. Guys, we will be back with another brand new episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.